All right, Netflix, I see what you're doing. You have Outlaw King versus the King. Third movie in the trilogy. Make it happen. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. I just watched the brand new Netflix movie called The King. I was excited for this film starring Timothée Chalamet. I want to talk about it, and I need your thoughts down below. Is this a movie that you enjoyed, and were you looking forward to it? Let's talk about it. So Hal, wayward prince and heir to the English throne, is crowned King Henry V after his tyrannical father dies. Now the young king must navigate palace politics, the war his father left behind, and the emotional strings of his past life. This film was directed by David Michôd, who brought us Animal Kingdom, The Rover, and War Machine, which I wasn't the biggest fan of, but I was excited to see what he was going to do with this source material based on history, of course. And one thing I've heard about this film is that it's not the most historically accurate movie, and if you're a big history buff, that may be something that bothers you. I don't really know a lot about the time period. I mean, I know enough. I went to school, but it's not something that's going to affect my judgment of this movie. All I wanted to see was a coherent story, something that kept me entertained, thrilled me in a way that maybe I wasn't anticipating, and brought me some really good performances. And you know the performances are going to be great, especially when you have Timothée Chalamet, Robert Pattinson, Joel Edgerton, who actually co-wrote the script as well. And I really like the guy as a writer and a director and an actor, of course. And honestly, Edgerton's performance was one of my favorites in the film because he is that guy that you look upon as just this wonderful soul who wants nothing but to help King Henry in his new position, kind of taking the reins from his father, who wasn't the best human being, wasn't the best person. And you see that at the beginning of the film. You see this tension between the two, and one does not want to be king. The other, played by Ben Mendelsohn, understands that this is probably the right thing to do, but out of hatred and out of tension, it's not something that he wants to do. And that's what this movie really is all about. And I do believe this film is deeper than what a lot of people are going to give it credit for. It is absolutely one that is slow. It's a slow-moving movie, and that's going to turn a lot of people off, in the same vein of an Outlaw King last year. But I actually believe there is more meat to this film than there was Outlaw King. I liked Outlaw King for what it was, but this movie has a bit more depth to it because it really hits on the concept of hatred and how maybe one isn't born with this instilled hatred, even though that's what everyone expects from you. That's maybe what your father was all about, but then you come to be king and now it's on your shoulders. And you just, well, you believe that you want to do the right thing, but everyone around you is just instilling this concept into your mind. And maybe you unknowingly go down that path that Chalamet's Henry ends up going down in this film. Not to spoil where they go in the third act, but his rage and what happens with his emotions that are toyed with all throughout the entire movie is what really allowed me to sink my teeth into this film. And I got so much more out of it than I was expecting. I mentioned Joel Edgerton's performance, and it's honestly one of my favorite performances of his, because as soon as you see him, his relationship with Chalamet's character, you're like, I kind of know what kind of character this is, but I love it. And he is so good as that. Mendelsohn is perfect as the slimy king at the beginning of the film. Sean Harris is in this movie, a character, an actor that I really like. And even though certain elements of his character comes off as a bit predictable to me, and there are certain storylines, and you're like, well, I can kind of see what that relationship is going to end up being like, I still really enjoyed him in the film. There are some powerful and really tense conversations between he and Henry, and it's all about just trying to figure out what the right thing is for the kingdom, for the people, and how others are coming along and making the struggle even more difficult. And that brings me to Robert Pattinson, who is playing a very different character than what we expect, but I feel like we're saying that for every movie he pops up in nowadays. The Lighthouse, it's like, I've never seen Pattinson do that. In this film, I've never seen Pattinson do that. I didn't know he was going to be French in this movie. I can't attest to the fact that he nailed that accent because I just don't know. At times, it sounded like he wasn't all the way there, but I would be lying if I said I didn't love his performance because I just loved it. I loved how exaggerated he was, just slimy and just such an character the entire time he's on screen. He has a really funny line that he delivers to Chalamet's character when he's just kind of taunting him and making fun of him and making Chalamet even more on edge. I apologize for continuing to say Chalamet, but you just see him, you're like, oh, that's Timothée Chalamet. I really enjoy him as an actor. I do. I've never seen a performance that I disliked him in. He is just exactly what you want this character to be. He's young, he's unsure, he's unaware of everything going on around him, but he has the right heart. He has the right mindset, and you know that he wants to do the right thing, but is that what he ends up doing? That's for you all to find out in this third act. Now, I will admit, it takes a bit to get there, to get to the payoff, but the payoff, in my opinion, was really good. And I do believe that maybe there were 15 to 20 minutes of this film that could have been shortened. Either that, or maybe make this a mini-series, because there are characters that I wanted to learn more about. I just could not quite get there. But then the movie progresses in such a way to where you're like, well, maybe it could have been shorter, got straight to the point, didn't focus on these characters as much. So it's either one or the other. Make it shorter or just give us more character depth, more of a mini-series. I would have loved to have learned more about Sir John Egerton's character. Thomasin McKenzie pops up in this film. She plays the sister. Did not get much from her. There are certain characters that pop up and you're just like, I needed more from that storyline to get the most out of the story as a whole, or just shorten it entirely. Don't focus on these side things as much and give me this mission that Chalamet's character in Henry has to accomplish. Overall, guys, I thought this film was really well done, and we haven't even really hit on the execution. I thought the score was wonderful. The cinematography speaks for itself. Adam Arkapaw, who did True Detective Season 1, Macbeth, Assassin's Creed, but it looked good, right? This is a gorgeous movie to look at. It's dim, but it's wonderfully crafted, and I think that's exactly this world that you're living in. I'm not the biggest fan of period pieces in this vein, in this nature, so if one captures my attention like this, I know it's something special to me. Like I said, this isn't everyone's cup of tea. It is a slow-moving film. There are moments that people are going to turn away just because there's not a ton happening on screen until you look a bit deeper. And I was just shocked at how much I enjoy this. I can't say I had fun with it because it's not a fun movie, but it's interesting. It's intriguing. It's fascinating. It's not a perfect film. Some clear issues in there, like I said, about the character exploration. But overall, I'm going higher with my score than I thought I was going to go. I'm going to go 76%. Really enjoyed The King on Netflix. Definitely one of the best Netflix movies of the year. Let me know, is this movie your cup of tea down below? Did you enjoy the performances, the technical elements as much as I did? And did the story give you the depth that you anticipated? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. It helps out this video and this channel. So many more videos coming today, guys. Apple Plus has dropped. I need to know from you guys, which review do you want to see first from that platform? And what are you all watching this weekend? Thank you so much for watching this video. Stay tuned to this channel for more. I'll see you soon.